Hello, this video is about how to do SEO with no money, or a very light amount of money. Well, first of all, you're going to have to spend at least a little bit of money to buy your domain and host your site, but that's very small compared to some of the costs involved with if you really go after and you try to buy your way into doing a lot of SEO, which can actually be done to a certain degree. It's fraught with error, but really, it is possible to rank well in Google if you're on a tight budget, and there's some techniques that work really, really well. Depending on your market and depending on your niche, and also depending on how much time and energy you're willing to spend on it. So you do, there are some things that you have to do. You can't just throw money at the problem and rank. That is not a good approach, but also you can't expect to rank in a super competitive niche with no money really quickly. That's just like asking for way too much. At the same time, there are some low cost alternatives that you can take. So about me, my name is David Hood. I've been doing SEO for a long time, about a decade now, full time for over 7 years now, and I've made well over $1 million. I'm on a mission to help 10,000 people make their first $1 million online, primarily with SEO. Okay, so number one, target keywords smartly. This is probably the biggest of all of them. It is where I think a lot of people make their mistakes. A lot of people I see, when they go to target their keywords, they pick like the top 5 to 10 searches, and then that's what they go after, and that's how they define success. And you're kind of setting yourself up for failure there, or you're giving yourself a much longer, much more expensive path, and you're also leaving a lot of money on the table. In fact, not just a lot of money, a lot of money, way more than you would think. The high traffic searches are going to be the ones that are going to stand out. The vast majority of the search volume is actually in what are called the long tail search phrases, which a long tail would be like really specific search phrases here. And so there's some additional benefits to this. So they're the lower competition, and they actually have a higher probability of conversion. The more short tail, the more broad it is, the less likely they actually are to convert into a customer or a client. While the very specific search phrases, if you can attract them to a page that's targeting that specific search phrase, they're more likely to turn into a customer. And that's so per unit visitor, actually long tail is worth a whole lot more. But also overall, long tail keywords comprise something on the order of 80 to 85% of the total search volume out there. So there's a lot of people out there that are just looking at the top 10 to 15 to 20% of search volume, and they're ignoring all the rest. And this is what majority of people do, actually. And this is part of the reason why targeting long tail search phrases is something that you can definitely do. And it depends on your niche. There are some niches where this is more difficult, and there's some niches where there's just a wealth of very specific search phrases, almost endless, tens of thousands of different search phrases that are unique. Now, red Nike men's running shoes is the same as Nike men's red running shoes. Okay, so I don't want you to think that that's two different search phrases. I'm talking about unique search phrases like blue Nike men's running shoes. That's two different search phrases that you can target independently of each other. And I would say that if you're really on a tight budget, you want to spend a lot of time here. Again, a lot of people don't want to do their homework. This is kind of the unsexy part of SEO, which is doing your keyword research, really looking at, really taking a long approach to this, where you do some research, you let it sit, you come back to it a few days later, you do some more research, you do some more planning, you do some more thoughts, you come back to it, and you build like a really comprehensive plan. If you're looking to target national niches, there's almost certainly going to be a lot of this. If you're looking to rank in like a local niche, this could be a bit more difficult. At the same time, there can also be some opportunities because you can add like suburbs to the list. It's arguable how much that works right now. In my experience, it does work when you create a new page. Let's say you're in Dallas and there's a suburb that you also want to rank in for Dallas, or even like a neighborhood within Dallas that you want to rank for. You can create a new page and tack on that neighborhood or that suburb in there, and that does work. Help you rank if done properly. But at the same time, sometimes it doesn't work. I think that Google, doesn't really have a big problem with that. At the same time, it's in my testing, it doesn't always work. You also want to research the competition. This is a part of what you want to look closely at, because sometimes there'll be a search phrase that has, let's say, 30% more search volume, and let's say that the visitors are worth the same compared to another search phrase. But if you look at the competition, the one that's just a little bit less has way less competition, or sometimes even the one that has less searches has more competition. And so looking at the competition, looking at the first page and seeing what kind of websites are there, what's the properties of those websites, how many referring domains do they have, how many high quality links really would be a more accurate assessment, how relevant are those links, how well targeted are they from an on-page standpoint, what's their domain name, stuff like that is going to be an important part of that. So part of the reason why this is so awesome is that when you pick a really good long tail search phrase, you don't need a lot of authority, you don't need a lot of link building, you just do really good on page, and a lot of times that's enough to get you at least started, and maybe even on the first page. I've had plenty of examples where I do the long tail SEO and I rank in the top 3 within like a month. Okay, so this is totally possible, and start driving traffic almost right away without putting a lot of money into it. Okay, so link building. You can try to get the same links as your competitors, and again, this really depends on your niche. I would probably not do this with the example that I gave down here, but I just wanted to pull a random site. Chewy.com, they have 13,000 referring domains. I would not comb through that probably. Also, they're just like a big company. I typically prefer to find people that are more like my website, or more like where I would want to rank alongside them. And so sometimes you'll see like these big websites alongside other websites that maybe have something on the order of 100 to 1,000 referring domains. And that would be someone that I would be much more likely to want to look at in great detail. And this is a lot of work actually, because you think about it, there's a bunch of search phrases you have, there's a bunch of competitors on the search phrases, and then there's a bunch of links within the competitors. So you could be looking at tens of thousands of links. But at the same time, among those tens of thousands of links, if you do your homework right, you can actually find some pretty good links in there oftentimes. Now, it's not just about finding any link. You don't want to just get every link that all of your competitors have, because some of the links might not actually be helping them. In fact, some of the links might actually be hurting them. And so one of the primary ways, it's a little bit beyond the scope of this video. I've shot another video on how to do this. And I'll try to remember to put a link to it below when I upload this video. But check through my videos. I think I uploaded about a month, 1 to 2 months prior to this, and it's about stealing links from your competitors. So but I'll give a really quick overview here. You really want to look for relevancy in the domain, the URL, the title, the anchors that are pointing to that site, or the H tags on the. These are all like on the link that is going to that would be linking to your site on the page. All right, you want your keywords or relevant words lining up in here. So for example, if you're trying to rank for like pet food, like Chewy.com, they're going to want a link that has like maybe like dogs in the domain name, and then in the URL they've got like bone, dog food, and then in the title it's got like best dog food or something like that. I don't know. That would be an example of relevancy. Now, this doesn't automatically mean that the link is qualified. It's just one way to look at it, but it's one filter, so to speak. But if it's got a good amount of authority, and it's the site is clean, then and it has relevancy, and you can get that link, oftentimes that's going to be something that's going to actually help you rank. Okay, here's a tough one. I really like this picture. I'd never seen this picture before, but when I was looking around, I found this. Because and I'm guilty of this to a significant degree as well. Just kind of like we got our heads in our devices, and there's a lot of reason to suggest that we're becoming less and less social, which is generally not good for us. It's not good for our happiness and all sorts of other things. But really connecting with real humans, who there's always a human behind a website, at least one. All right, and sometimes more than one. And so what you want to do is you want to try to connect socially with the people that are running these authority and relevant websites. And there's a lot of different ways to do this, but I would say don't ever start by asking a link. Don't send them an email and say, hey, can I get a link on your site? That's not going to work. It's going to be a waste of your time. and you're going to ruin any chance that you had of getting a link in the first place. Really what you want to do is you want to try to get to know them and have real person conversations. So, however you think, and this is, I don't want to give an example for this because it really depends on your industry. You might want to comment on something that they did, or ask them a question that shows that you're paying attention, stuff like that. Or you could go to industry conferences. This is a really good one. And I know that this is not like a free thing. Sometimes conferences are kind of free, but at the same time, this is a long-term play. This is something that takes a while, and there's really no way around it. You can share their stuff on your website. So if you share something talking about how you thought that they made a really awesome article, and then you point them to it, they might actually link to you. And you kind of want to share without the expectation that they're going to link to you, because if you're like, hey, you should link to this, then they're not going to want to. But with a certain amount of people, if you do this enough, you're probably going to get some people linking back to your stuff that's kind of promoting them at the same time. There's another technique called broken link building. I'm not going to go into it right now because there could be a whole video on that, and there's lots of other people that talk about how to do that, but that's just one technique that can often be free. It's similar to the connecting with real humans. You basically scan a website for links that are going to it, and then you put those links, and you see which, or you scan a website for the links that they're linking out to, and you look for broken links. All right, and then when you find broken links, that one that you think is relevant to some of your content, you approach them and say, hey, you've got this link, you're linking out to this content that isn't working. Can you link? I've got a piece of content that is working, that's exactly the same or better or whatever. Can you put my link up? And this will sometimes work to a degree to where it actually could help you. So if this was helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more fantastic content like this. If you didn't like it, please feel free to thumbs down, or ask some questions or make some comments on any methods that you have. I will respond to it. If there's anything that you think I missed or anything you think I got wrong, please let me know. Thanks, and have a good day. Bye.